All right, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I still love watches. I really love watches. But here's the thing. I love watches with a small letter L, not the big L. Here's what I mean. I love chocolate cake. Wait. I love German chocolate cake, but I only eat it once a year. So I love it, but I have control over my love of it. Let me put it this way. When high school, we all had a crush. We fell in love with a girl, and she didn't like us. She didn't care that we loved her, and gave us a certain indifference, just looked at us like she was bored, or maybe even with flagrant contempt. But we just couldn't help it. We were in love with her. And one morning, we woke up and we were no longer in love with her anymore, and we were happy. We were relieved. We felt free. That's kind of how I feel about my watch addiction. I am a watch addict. I wear watches. I'm very cognizant of the watches I wear. I'm always looking down at it. But I put the brakes on my watch addiction in the last month. I don't have any watches coming in transit in the mail. I don't have any watches for sale. I'm not looking at any to buy any watches. And I'm in a better, I hate this cliche, I'm in a better place. I don't know, I want to say something else. Feel better. How's that, man? I feel better because I put the brakes on my watch addiction. And I want to give you some reasons why I put the brakes on my addiction. I'm not renouncing my watch hobby. I'm not saying I quit watches, but I definitely put the brakes on my addiction. And by the way, I don't even know if it was this putting the brakes on my addiction. I don't know if it was an act of willpower or just some sort of inevitable outcome of where I was going with my watches. Sometimes in life we don't really choose what we do. It just sort of happens. And so I'm not really... Maybe it's both. Maybe I was aware that I wanted to put the brakes on, and I just sort of inevitably reached this part of my watch journey. Yeah, whatever, McMahon. So you guys get so mad at me when I refer to myself in the third person. I gotta watch that. So here's some things I learned about my watch addiction and some reasons why I put the brakes on my watch addiction. The first thing I learned is that I had distraction disease. Now I look around at people with their smartphones and they have distraction disease, and I don't have a smartphone addiction, but I was the same. I had the same problem. I couldn't sit down at my computer and write an essay without going on eBay or a YouTube watch channel and just looking at some watch or other. I had distraction disease. I couldn't focus. I couldn't control my life. And here's what I want to tell you about self-control. When something controls you, whether it be a watch or German chocolate cake or the high school girl you have a crush on, you don't have control of your life. And when you don't have control of your life, you're not that happy. You're miserable. All addiction leads to misery. And so, not surprisingly, I'm less miserable now than when I was in the throes of my watch addiction. So that's the first thing, the first reason why I wanted to get out of this watch addiction. The second thing I noticed, and you guys know this, I was spinning my wheels. I was making the same mistakes over and over again, rebuying the Seiko Sumo and the Seiko Tuna, and I could go on and on, rebuying stuff. And I had to stop spinning my wheels. I had to stop and take a breather and look at what I was doing, and it feels good. It just feels good to take a rest. I mean, I don't know about you, but in the throes of my watch addiction, I was exhausted. It was tiring me out. It was consuming my life, which doesn't surprise me. I've always been this way. When I was a little kid, when I was 9 years old, I invented this game called Dice Baseball. And I had my baseball cards, and I would do seasons, 162 game seasons, and I would play from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. And I would announce the games in a tape recorder. I'm surprised I didn't become a baseball announcer. So the third reason why I wanted to put the brakes on my watch addiction, I just wanted to be a little happier. I don't want to be absolutely happy, but I just wanted to be a little happier. And I know that there's a connection between happiness and self-control. if you eat the German chocolate cake once a year, and if you occasionally buy a nice watch, and you really love it, excuse me, you're going to be a lot happier than if you're in the throes of your addiction. The fourth reason why I wanted to put the brakes on my watch addiction was you guys. You guys would message me and say, oh, I saw this video and I ended up buying the tuna or this and that, and I'm hurting, McMahon. I'm hurting, man. I'm addicted. Please, what can I do? And I reached a point where I wasn't sure if I was sharing my watch passion or if I was a pharmaceutical rep selling opioids to fellow addicts, you know. And I don't want to enable other addicts. I mean, I'll still make watch videos from time to time. I'll show you my my beautiful blue Seiko tuna and all that. But I don't want to enable anyone to be addicted. The fifth reason why I had to put the brakes on my addiction is I was talking to other watch addicts who've been spending a lot more money than I was, and I was observing other watch addicts who were spending a lot more money than I was, and I noticed that there's never really an end game, and I needed an end game because I was just exhausted. I was just too tired. It wasn't fun. It was exhausting. I mean, I knew people who were spending $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on watches, and they said the disease wasn't going away. It was just getting worse, and I didn't want to go down that road. It was a decision I made. I'm very happy with what I have. And that brings me to number 6. I notice that when I'm constantly on the search for a holy grail, I got my head up in the clouds, I can't enjoy what I have. I can't even recognize that I already have a grail. I already have, I mean, I love all my watches. I have 7 watches. I love them all. And they're all grails in their own way. And sometimes when you keep looking for the beyond, you don't understand or recognize what you have right in front of you. There was a Scottish comedian, Billy Connolly, and he had a joke about living in Scotland. I think he was on David Letterman. This might have been in the 90s or something, maybe even in the 80s. Can't get my decades straight anymore. And he said, you know, the thing about Scotland, man, all our folk singers, all our songs are the same song. I want to go home, I want to go home. And Connolly said, dude, you're already home. Why? What are you doing? It's like, dude, you already have your grail. And so I wanted to put the brakes on just so I could enjoy the watches that I have. And then finally, here's what I want to tell you guys, and this won't surprise you. You know what I learned since putting the brakes on my watch addiction? Addiction is a sneaky little devil, because you know, you put the brakes on your watches and then your obsessive personality just gloms onto something else. And so for the last month or so, I've been obsessively researching Lenovo laptop computers, ThinkPads. I have a 5.5-year-old iMac with an old i5 processor. It's slowing down. I'm thinking of getting a new computer. And so I actually pulled some strings. I'm getting a really expensive laptop to review, and I get to keep it. I'm not even a gamer, but it's an Acer Predator Triton 500. It has 32 gigs of RAM, which is amazing. It has a 1 terabyte of solid state drive, and it has a 6-core 8th generation i7 processor. So I'm going to take my obsessive personality, I'm going to do a review of that laptop, I'm going to learn how to do some video editing. I'm just going to try to branch out beyond my watch obsession. Maybe there's a life outside of watches. Am I quitting watches? No. Do I still love watches? Yes, but it's with a small L. Had to put the brakes on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, tell me what you think. And until next time, I'm out.